Otello and his team, massive storm coming back from the battle. They finally make it into port, and he jumps off the boat and sings his opening line, Esaltate l'orgoglio musulmano sepolto al mar, one of the great lines of all opera. And of course, it's an honour to sing that thing. Hard line to sing too. Sees his beautiful wife, Desdemona. They sing one of the great love duets later in that act. But in the middle of the act, Cassio and Iago and Rodrigo and all these inner characters get drunk and have a fight. And Otello storms out and breaks up the fight and demotes Cassio. And this is again, creating the cancer in his mind of Cassio and his wife Desdemona. And of course, Iago plays on that by the second act. Really, the seed starts growing, and by the third act, there's no stopping Otello. He thinks Cassio is his wife's lover, and everything from a handkerchief going missing and all these bits and pieces. Otello becomes a crazy dude. But the great thing about him, I think, is his switch. He sort of, in a split second, will switch it on to being just a crazy fella. And Verdi, of course, has written that in the piece. Fourth act opens with Desdemona and her servant Emilia, and she sings one of the most beautiful pieces that Verdi ever put down on paper, the Ave Maria. And I don't know, possibly knowing it might be her last ever prayer, but probably not. Otello comes in. There's no stopping him. He's actually quite calm, I think, when he comes in to the room. But it ends up with an argument and Otello strangling or suffocating Desdemona. Everyone else rushes in after Emilia opens the door and sees Desdemona in the last breath of her life, dying. And Otello finds the truth out throughout the next conversation that Iago had been plotting all these falsehoods in his, putting all these falsehoods into his head, and in his frenzy grabs his knife and stabs himself. Then, of course, as all opera composers love doing, after you've stabbed yourself in the stomach quite heavily with a large knife, you then get on to sing a huge 5 or 6 minute lovely aria of some of the most beautiful music, again for tenor. And then he dies. And the last note is glorious because it's the word bacio, kiss, and he can't say it. He just goes ba, and Verdi writes ... in the score, and you sort of just emote the cho. It's beautiful. And he dies, and obviously Verdi knew what he was doing when he fell in love with Shakespeare, full stop, and the Othello of Shakespeare. And I think his version, his edited version, is very strong, definitely musically. And him and Boito, who did the libretto, a fantastic composer in his own right. I mean, it's one of the great pillars of our operatic repertoire.